Okay, magandang umaga po sa lahat at welcome to all of you and to all our visitors. We give special welcome to Asa and Bless as they have graced us with their presence. And I hope that by the end of this lesson, for some of you, it will be an eye-opener why you are coming to church on Sunday. And for the more of you, I believe it will be a refreshing understanding or refreshing for you to once again renew your commitment to the Lord's Day. Why are we coming to church on Sunday? And where did this come from? Is this just a tradition? Others will give allegations where the tradition originated, but I want to show that this is something which is of God's mandate, and no people better understood this and put this to life than the Puritans. That's why we are putting this under Puritan distinctives, just by reviewing our distinctives by way of this triangle. Again, we started with the Orthodox, embracing others who are within Orthodox Christendom. Evangelical, we recognize brethren who are believers in salvation by grace through the gospel of Christ. And we also completed our study of the Reformed distinctives as spelled out by the five solas of the Reformation. And we are now in the Puritan distinctives. And God willing, we are leading to the summit of this, which is the Baptist distinctives. Last week, we only had time to consider the Puritans historically because may mga hindi nakakakilala sa kanila kung ano ba ang mga Puritans. Ito nga ang dahilan, dati tayong Puritan Baptist Church. Binago natin ang tayo lumipat sa komunidad dahil baka hindi alam kung ano ang Puritan at mapagkamalan tayong sellers ng kung anong brand ng mga clothing. So we are now Grace Baptist Church, but we are still retaining those Puritan distinctives. And the first that we will consider is this is a review pa rin ng history. The Puritans emerged from the Church of England of 17th century, culminating in the Great Ejection of 1662. Marami ang lumabas nang ipilit sa kanila ang ritual ng the Book of the Common Prayer, and many chose to go to the uncertainty of having no church to take care of them, but they believed in the Lord, and this is an example to us of making a step of conscience where we are being forced and compelled to do things which are violative of our conviction. Ginawa yan ng mga Puritans. They applied Reformed theology in pastoral setting and social turmoil, and they wanted and ministered for full application of Reformed theology to church and state. Now, we do not agree dun sa latter part na state, but they were people who lived in times where there was no separation of church and state, and that will be a later development in history. We will see when we come to Baptist distinctives. But we are looking at the first, these are the distinctives we are looking at: the Sabbath sacredness, regulative principle in worship, universal holiness in church and life, sanctified heart, and danger of apostasy. Now, maaaring sabihin ninyo, but Puritan distinctives, di ba, ang mga reformers, ganyan din naman. Well, not all of them, and it was not the thrust of their teaching, and we will see why as we go along our study. For example, on the Sabbath sacredness, remember I told you that the reformers had to form their teachings in response to the prevailing teaching of the Roman Catholic Church. Now, the Roman Catholic Church, at least at that time, was not against the Sabbath. They were, in fact, very zealous about Sunday observance, kaya walang issue doon para sa mga reformers, and this did not become an outstanding feature of the reformers. It did become an outstanding feature of Puritan distinctives because by then the Sabbath was being compromised, and so they had to spell out what it is and how it applies to the Christian life even today. So by and large, when we think of our day, professing Christians disregard the Sabbath. Sa panahon na natin ito, kung noon ay nagsisimula ang kompromiso sa Sabbath, ngayon halos wala na sa mga kahit nag-aangking Kristiyano, there is an almost total disregard for the Sabbath. There is an unwillingness, for example, if not blunt rejection of calling Sunday as Christian Sabbath. Now, even among Reformed Christians, you will find those who do not want to call Sunday as Sabbath. They will still consider it the Lord's Day, but not the Sabbath. They think the Sabbath is only for the Jews. We will try to correct that impression today. Then Sunday has lost its Lord's Day status even for many professing Christians, that it is the rest day of the week. Some still maintain it in terms of legal break from work, but for many as rest day from your worldly occupation so as to devote yourself to religious exercises, this is well nigh lost in our day, and especially when we understand the Lord's Day as that which God has appointed for Christian worship, that is very much abandoned in our present evangelicalism. On the other hand, and in stark contrast, the Puritans were zealous for and committed to the sacredness of the Sabbath as the Lord's Day. So yan yung contrast na pinapakita natin ngayon, kaya tinawag natin ito isa sa mga Puritan distinctives, ang ikinabubukod nila at bakit natin tinatanggap ito at ipinapamuhay. So with the issue that we are raising here, is it imperative to sanctify the first day of the week as the Lord's Day Sabbath? Makikita niyo dalawa talaga ang nakapaloob dito. Is there a Sabbath? And then, why is it now the first day of the week? And we will try to answer that, but we begin with the wrong approaches to this issue. And you will see that because the Sabbath is part of the Ten Commandments, you can understand why the rejection of the Sabbath first begins with the rejection of the Decalogue or the Ten Commandments as we know them. So the first wrong approach is rejection of the Ten Commandments as binding. Sinasabi nila, wala na sa atin para sa mga Hudyo. Yang 10 utos, hindi na yan para sa atin. At dahil nakapaloob sa 10 utos, ang ika-4 ay ang Sabbath, so hagip siya. Pero makikita natin in the actual theology of those who espouse this rejection of the Decalogue, they really come up with only rejection of the Sabbath. Ultimately, there are many theological forms. The most popular is dispensationalism, and I think when we dealt with covenant of grace, ay medyo tinalakay ko na yan. Hindi natin palalalimin ang pagtalakay dyan ngayon. Even some Reformed Christians have their own theology that ends up rejecting the Sabbath, which is known as New Covenant theology. Sinasabi nila may bago na tayong law sa New Covenant. Yung Ten Commandments, Old Covenant law yan. Ngayong New Covenant ay iba na. Kung yung mga nag-attend ng Bible Teachers Retreat, and there was a question time in my session, may isang nagtanong tungkol dyan, are we still following the Ten Commandments or the law of the New Covenant? Behind that is New Covenant theology. Now, whether you're dispensationalist or NCT, as we call it, the common element of both is that the first command is not binding. Yan ang kanilang conclusion. Why? Because they will say the other 9, 1 to 3, and 5 to 10, are adopted because they are asserted in the New Testament. At sila'y parang inulit sa Bagong Tipan, sa mga katuwid, batas pa rin sa Bagong Tipan, pero wala raw ang Sabbath, hindi inulit. We will challenge that today. But that is the substance of their theology. Ten Commandments for the Old Covenant, New Covenant requires new laws. And they may sometimes call it the law of Christ, or other categories, but that's the common thing about these various forms of theology. it misinterprets the statement that you will find in Romans 6:14 that we are no longer under the law but under grace. At inuunawa nila yan na, hindi na tayo nasa ilalim ng batas at that means tanggal ang 10 utos, biyaya na ang nagpapakilos sa atin. And the misinterpretation is failure to consider what Paul is saying in Romans 6, that we are not under the law in old covenant terms. We now have the new covenant in Christ. And in old covenant terms, kasama pa dyan ang mga ceremonies, ang mga rituals, sa mga priestly laws, hindi na yun nagtutuloy dahil tinupad na ng Panginoong Hesukristo. The New Testament, however, teaches that the Decalogue is binding. It is written on the heart versus the fact that the Ten Commandments are written on the tablets of stone. So, ganito natin tingnan. It says that both are written. What's the difference? Bakit sinabing now you have written in the heart? Well, because in the Old Covenant, the law was written by God Himself in tablets of stone. The only material in the Old Testament God ever wrote, yung tanging Diyos o tanging material na Diyos mismo ang sumulat, ay ang 10 utos. Diba, isinulat yan kay Moises at nang bumaba siya mula sa bundok, nakita niya ang mga Israelita ay nagkasala ng the golden calf incident at binasag niya yung 2 tipak ng bato. And what happened? When he returned to the Lord on Mount Sinai, the Lord wrote it again. Wala nang ibang isinulat ang Panginoon. Now, even in the Old Testament, there is a promise, you have broken the law. Now, because this was written on tablets of stone, in the New Covenant, I will write it on the heart. So what changed is the medium where it is written. But the question is, what is written? Oh, you cannot say that magbabago na yung isusulat dun sa isinulat sa tipak ng bato, iba na ang isusulat. Walang sinabing ganyan. Ang nagbago ay saan isinulat. Pero ang tanong ay anong isinulat, ay kung ano man yung isinulat niya sa bato. Ay yun pa rin ang isusulat sa panibagong medium, this time, the heart. Now, if you were old like me, if you were trying to get your driver's license in the past, you'll be made to wait for about more than 3 months, and then you'll get a paper license that you have to laminate. Ngayon, binago na nila, plastic na. So bago na ang medium, pero anong isusulat nila? Hindi magbabago ang pangalan ko. Kung ano yung pangalan ko doon sa dati nilang sinulatang paper cardboard, ay yung pa rin ang pangalan ko, yung pa rin ang data, yung pa rin ang birthday, etc. In other words, what changed is simply the medium where it is written. So this is what it means that I will write my law upon your heart so that from the greatest to the least, they will know me as the Lord. This was not the case in the Old Covenant. So in the Old Covenant, there were people who had the tablets of stone of the Ten Commandments, the Israelites, but not all of them know the Lord. They were not, many of them were not saved. But now, in the New Covenant, dahil sa puso na isusulat, everyone will know the Lord because now the law is written upon the heart. But the question is, what law is written upon the heart is whatever God has written on the tablets of stone. So that has not changed in essence para sa atin ngayon. So this is something that we need to understand. So then there is another wrong approach, that is the distortion of Christian liberty on the Sabbath. Ang sinasabi nila ay sa bagong tipan, meron na tayong kalayaan. At yung mga batas dati ay ibinigay na sa ating malaya kung anong gagawin natin sa kanyang batas, lalo na may kinalaman sa Sabbath. Now, they love to employ certain texts, particularly two texts that they employ and misinterpret. One is Romans 14, 5 and 6, which says one person esteems one day as better than another, while another esteems all days alike. Each one should be fully convinced in his own mind. The one who observes the day observes it in honor of the Lord. The one who eats in honor of the Lord, since he gives thanks to God, while the one who abstains in honor of the Lord and gives thanks to God. So ang kanilang sinasabi, yan, kung anong gusto mong day para sa iyo, yun na yun. Unang-una, practically speaking, that will not be possible because one thing that is needed for the Sabbath is the gathering of the church. Paano ka mag-gather kung walang unity na may araw tayong mag-gather? Kaya kung sabihin ng isang ang position niya ay kung anong special day para sa isa, yun ang kanyang day of worship. Pwede ba yun sa isang iglesia? Hindi pwede. We need to agree on the day. So even on the practical level, but on the hermeneutical, that is the interpretation of the text, mali ang interpretation na ito na ina-apply sa Sabbath. This has to do with some religious days that are regarded as feast by some Christians, and others do not regard them as anything special in a religious way. Alam natin, may mga Jews na gusto nila, nakagisnan na nila na kapag ganitong panahon ay special day for religious celebration. Nang maging Kristiyano sila, ay gusto nilang ituloy pa rin pero bigyan nila ng pagdugtong kay Jesucristo. Like the three pilgrim feasts that the Jews observed, the Passover, Pentecost, and the Feast of Weeks. Yun ay tinuloy ng mga Jews, pero now they are celebrating for Christ. Kung maitutulad natin yan sa ngayon, some of you may celebrate Christmas. I personally don't, and others don't, as a matter of conviction. And maybe you do it for Christ in a way that you believe will not be worldly. And no one here has been censured for celebrating Christmas, even though the church itself does not celebrate Christmas precisely because it is liberty. If it is a matter of liberty, you cannot impose it on the church. Yung pwedeng sabihin, lahat tayo magkakaroon ng Christmas service when it is for others not to be celebrated, and it is their liberty not to celebrate. And for others, they want to celebrate. It is their liberty to celebrate. So this is just one example, and they are misinterpreting it if they apply it to the Sabbath when it is a mandate of the Ten Commandments. Sa pang mahilig nilang gamitin ay Colossians 2:16-17, therefore let no one pass judgment on you in questions of food and drink, or with regard to a festival, or a new moon, or a Sabbath. No, actually, in the original, it is Sabbaths, plural. And ang pinapakita nito ay may Sabbaths na ceremonial. So you have the sabbatical year, you have the year of Jubilee, there are ceremonial laws that are to be expected of the Jews on the Sabbath. Those are the things which are shadow of things to come. It is not saying that the Sabbath as a day is now to be a matter of indifference. The New Testament asserts the continuing Sabbath imperative. So yan yung sagot natin sa nagsasabing wala sa New Testament na ginawang utos ang Sabbath. Wala sa New Testament ang pagkilala ng Sabbath. I challenge that very strongly. Hebrews 4:9 says, so then there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. I just want you to know that in the flow of the argument, the writer of Hebrews has been talking about the rest, the future rest we will enter into if we persevere. And then suddenly, he speaks of that continuing, and he changed his word. Iba to sa word na rest na ginamit niyang paulit-ulit sa Hebrews 4. Pagdating niya sa verse 9, this is the only place in the whole New Testament where this word is used, sabbatismos. Jonathan Edwards translated it as sabbatism, transliterating sabbatismos. What it should translate into is Sabbath rest. And take note, the present tense, there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. At gumawa ng parallel ang writer of Hebrews, just as in the case of Israel. God entered into his rest. And when did God enter into his rest? End of creation. Now, in verse 10, it says, Christ entered into his rest. So, for the church, this would be seventh day. This would be first day when Jesus rose from the dead. So, making a parallel of that shows that there remains a Sabbath rest, not the Sabbath simply of the Jews, but there is now a Sabbath for the people of God. So, yung magsasabing wala ng Sabbath, this is just one. I can show you mamaya others. Another wrong approach is the adoption of pragmatism in Sabbath observance. Dito naman talaga uuwi kadalasan yung pakikipag-usap ninyo sa mga ayaw ng Sabbath ay sasabihin nilang hindi practical. And what they are saying is something pragmatic. What is pragmatism? Pragmatism is the philosophy of, or in ethics, it is the standard of whatever works is right. And if it is not right if it does not work. Another way of saying that in Americanism is you cannot argue with success. So if it is successful, there must be something right. And if it is not working, there must be something wrong. When we live in a very pragmatic age, where because the standard of right and wrong has been disposed of, you need to fill in other standards, and the standard that has become very popular in the West is pragmatism. O kaya ang tinatawag nila yan, practical, maging practical tayo. Ibig nila sabihin talaga ay, let's see what works. And so, the reason ultimately why the Sabbath is rejected is because it intrudes into what people want to do on Sunday. And let me focus on two. One is profit. So, pagbawasan mo ako ng isang araw, paano kung ako'y sa palengke at Sunday ang mostly market day ng karamihan, tatanggalin mo sa akin ang araw na pinakamalaki ang tubo. Hindi maganda yan. Maghihikaos ako niyan. So, because of profit or else pleasure. Sunday is the only day we can have a family day and go to the beach or perhaps do some family recreation. Kaya yung katotohanang ibinigay ng Panginoon ng 6 na araw at ang hiningi lamang niya ay isang araw ay inagaw pa at gustong gamitin para sa kanilang pakinabang o sa kanilang kasayahan. And what we must say of this is that God is after His glory and man's good for the Sabbath. We will see here Mark 2:27-28 and expound it even more later. Pero sinabi ng Panginoon, remember that man was not made for the Sabbath, but the Sabbath for man. for the good, para sa pakinabang ng tao. Therefore, the Son of Man, that is the Lord Jesus Christ, is Lord of the Sabbath. So, it's not that the Sabbath is for profit or for pleasure, but for the good of man in his relationship with God, and for Christians in their acknowledgement of the Lordship of Jesus Christ. So these are the wrong approaches to the question, why do we have to have a Sabbath? And now, let us look at the biblical presentation. First of all, and this is one thing that we must understand vitally, is that Sabbath is creation mandate. Before there was a Mosaic law, before the writing of the Ten Commandments, God already sanctified the Sabbath. God Himself was the first to observe the first Sabbath of creation. Remember that after the sixth-day creation, Genesis 2 verse 3 says, "So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all His work that He had done in creation." Now this does not mean that God got tired or weary. It means that He enjoyed His creation. And that's the point of Genesis 1. 10 times we are told He beheld His creation, and behold, it was very good. And now Genesis 2:3 is God reflecting on His creation, how creation displays His glory, and now as the first one to do it, to display to humanity how they should live, He rested, He relished, He enjoyed, He delighted on the day of the Sabbath. So this creation week becomes the pattern for the Sabbath. Exodus 20, the first time the Ten Commandments were given, this was the ground for observing the Sabbath, when God says, "For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Now, this is a day that is for all human creatures. That's why it's a creation mandate. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin pang Hudyo o pang Kristiyano lang yan. Pang sangkatauhan ang Sabbath. At we reject it to our own detriment. As creation mandate, it applies to all humanity as a moral duty. The Sabbath was made for man. So man, not just the Jews or the Christian. The Sabbath was made for man, sa ikabubuti ng sangkatauhan. Let me just tell you, perhaps something you've heard from me already, but there had been several instances in history that attempts were made to change the arrangement of a 7-day week with 1-day rest. After the French Revolution, when Maximilien Robespierre became the leader of what came to be the so-called Reign of Terror, he implemented a 10-day week, meaning 9 consecutive days of work, and then the 10th day is the day of rest. And they thought that will be more economically gainful. It became counterproductive. Then the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917 in Russia, they too tried the 10-day week, and it also proved counterproductive. And back they went to the 7-day week, because that's the way God made us. God made us to live 7 days of cycle, 6 days of work, 1 day of rest as a cycle of life. That's creation that you cannot change, or you change to your own peril. The second biblical presentation is that the Lord's Day derives from the resurrection of Christ. Why do we call it the Lord's Day? Is because we can surely guarantee from the Scriptures data of facts that Jesus rose from the dead on a Sunday. Christ's resurrection happened on the first day of the week. this is something which is uh, detailed in all four Gospels. Matthew 28:1 says, "Now after the Sabbath," now the Sabbath of the Jews was Saturday, "after the Sabbath, toward the dawn of the first day of the week." And now the women visited the tomb where Jesus was buried, and then they will find the stone rolled over and the tomb empty. And all four Gospels all say the first day of the week. This is the only day that is so singled out. You don't find data about the second day of the week or the third day of the week. But the first day of the week is again and again underscored. And therefore, this is called from the New Testament time, the Lord's Day. Hindi yan nag-umpisa later on in church history as some allege. Revelation 1 verse 10, John says, "I was in the Spirit on the Lord's Day." And later, Christians in the first and second generations after the apostles showed that the Lord's Day is used to refer to the first day of the week. So the first day of the week became the mandated gathering of the church. Ito yung naging kakaiba sa Hudyo na ang pag-observe nila ng seventh day ay on Saturday, but for the believers in the New Testament, it is now the first day of the week. Na babanggit ko noon, the first time Jesus appeared to the gathered disciples was on the resurrection day itself. And he appeared to them while they were in a closed door. He appeared to them on that Sunday. And that Sunday, Thomas was absent. And so the apostles who were present told Thomas that the Lord appeared to them, and Thomas would not believe. Now you may think, because Thomas was an apostle, it was imperative and urgent that Thomas should know. Why would not Jesus appear to him the following day, Monday, or at least Tuesday? Instead, he appeared to them again as gathered on the first day of the week, on the next Sunday. So he is establishing from the very day of the resurrection, he is establishing the pattern that it is on the first day of the week that the gathering should be done. And it became the practice of the early church, as Paul says in 1 Corinthians 16:1 following, "As I directed the churches of Galatia, so you also are to do." So practice na ito ng mga churches. On the first day of every week, each of you is to put something outside and store it up. So there you have the collection of the money for benevolence to be done on the day that Paul knew churches were gathering. And therefore they can store. Kaya first day of the week. In Acts 20 verse 7, when Apostle Paul visited Lystra, there you find him preaching and then breaking bread. That's the Lord's Supper. And by the way, this became famous because of a certain young man named Eutychus, who napahaba yung preaching yata ni Paul. At kung ano naman ang naisip nitong batang ito na maybe teenager na upo sa bintana, nakatulog, pagsak, patay. Pero by miracle, binuhay ni Pablo. Pero ang point doon ay they were doing things that were worship mandates. Preaching to a gathered church and the Lord's Supper, breaking of bread. So clearly, there can be no disputing the fact that the churches of the New Testament have now been practicing what Jesus himself has implemented from the beginning of the resurrection. That is to gather and to have their religious exercises as a corporate church on the first day of the week. And then finally, we must also say that Christian application makes the Sabbath even more joyful. Parang sa iba, ang pakiramdam nila, those who reject the Sabbath regard it as legalistic. At pag sinabi mong legalistic, andyan na yung joyless, walang kagalakan. Sunday na naman, punta na naman ng church. May maganda sanang palabas ngayong Sunday morning, mamimiss ko. At marami pang naiisip na kung ano-ano. We know later we may discuss it that there are cases of necessity and works of mercy. We do not dismiss the exceptions to what should be regular. But this idea of a joyless, legalistic Sabbath must be challenged. Think of it this way about the glory of the new covenant. 2 Corinthians 3:10 and 11. What once had glory, that's the old covenant, has come to have no glory at all because of the glory that surpasses it. And if you go on reading, Paul is saying, now we behold the Lord. In the past, they do not behold the Lord in real glorious appearance of that glory because they were all layers of rituals to impress upon the Israelites their distance from God. They needed priests. They needed the temple. They needed rituals, layers of distance. Now Paul is saying, now we behold the glory of the Lord. That's the glory of the new covenant. Therefore, it should translate into more joy in worship. And joy, let me remind you, is not being happy and giddy and therefore make the worship a matter of entertainment. It means a sense of privilege. That's joy. You are a privileged soul to be given access to God. So the joy of the Christian Sabbath is based on new covenant fulfillment. Oriented to Christ. And you are enabled by the Holy Spirit because joy is one of those things that Paul says are the fruit of the Holy Spirit. In fact, coming immediately after love, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy. So when you do it out of love, it is not possible that it will be a joyless exercise. So let me draw your attention as we come to our last point, the significance of Sabbath sacredness. Well, we're coming to the more practical things. Well, unang-una, it gives one day in the week to highlight Christian distinction. Saan tayo ibang-iba sa lahat? Talagang dapat sa trabaho mo from Monday through Friday or through Saturday, ipakita mong Kristiyano ka pa rin. Among other things, Paul said, no murmuring, no disputing. Dito pa lang, may mga Kristiyanong hindi mo makita pagkakaiba. Sila pang nagtatawag. Kali kayo, may pag-uusapan tayo. May bagong marites. Dapat ipakita natin pagkakaiba natin from Monday to Saturday at work or in your dorm, in your school, in excelling because you're doing it for the Lord. No company with the sinful. Pero still, given the cycle of 7-day week, what days should really stand out as Christians are different? Well, if you're in the beach, what makes you different from unbelievers? If you're in your business, what makes you different from unbelievers? What stands out as a corporate church, as a community of believers that sets us apart from that of the world is that on the Lord's Day, we gather in order to give glory to Him who has sustained us and has blessed us and has saved us. So, going back to Hebrews 4:9, there's the distinctive. So then there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. How do you pick out the people of God among the among humanity in this world, they should be found in churches. They should be found withdrawing from the ordinary, regular life of the 6 days because they need to give glory to the Lord. And would you not want it? Yan ang gusto ko malaman. Ayaw mo ba? Talaga bang fixated ka dun sa stress ng 6 days and all the restlessness? Doon ka ba masaya? Hindi ka ba naghahanap sa iyong puso ng isang araw man lang pagkatapos ng 6 na kaguluhan, mga kabigatan, mga problema, may isang araw na mapaalala sa iyo, ako'y lingkod ng Panginoon at sasambahin ko siya sa araw na ito, karapat-dapat siyang sambahin. Don't you want it? Another is that it upholds church mandates for corporate communion. This is in Hebrews 10:23 to 25. If only we can single out 2, there are more. But this is the day that we show worship as priority. How do you show that? By being in your business where you have the control over. Halimbawa, employee ka, wala kang control, victim ka, na mapagtrabaho ka ng Sunday, we can consider that the case of victimhood. But if you have control, let's say, of your store, and you choose to exercise your business because of the profit, it shows that worship is not your priority. And then fellowship as privilege. Because Paul says that you are to provoke one another to love and good works. That's fellowship. And where do you do that? Do not forsake the assembly. The assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is. So it upholds church corporate mandates. And finally, it challenges graces for practical application. Para ma-observe mo ang Sabbath in a joyful way, it challenges certain graces. I again single out just 2. There are more, but one is the grace of joy. Why it's rest. Now let me make this very clear. The contradiction of rest is not work. They are not intended to contradict because we are both workers and worshipers. And in the same fourth command, you actually have 2 imperatives. 6 days you shall labor. On the 7th day is rest. So rest and labor are not contradictory. The contradiction of rest is restlessness. Yan na yung 24/7 mentality. Walang pahinga sa pagkita. Walang pahinga sa kanilang mga gawaing pangmundo. Walang pahingang buhay. And do you know how the final state of the wicked is described? Aside from the torments, it says they have no rest, day or night. Because that's their life in the world, a life of restlessness. Now they get the fruit of what they have sown, an eternity of restlessness. This is a warning to us. If we are living restless lives, this is also a description of the wicked. He is like a restless wave of the sea. Walang pahinga sa kasalanan. Walang pahinga sa mundo. O dumaluman ng iglesia ay wala pa ring pahinga sa kanyang gadget games. O kaya naman, doon nagpahinga sa iglesia na natulog habang nangangaral ng salita ng Diyos. Hindi yun ang pahingang pinag-uusapan natin. It is rest from the 6-day regularity. You break the routine. You break the regularity of the 6 days. 7th day, is special, and for believers is the first day of the week, then that demands discipline. And I don't mean discipline of censure, but discipline of the self-discipline, which means willing self-denial. And it takes self-denial to really experience joy. There may be a paradox here. Many think that it's joy if you have what you've got, what you want to have. In reality, joy is that which denies what will intrude into the real joy of communion with God. So there's a good show Sunday morning, deny yourself. There's a fun activity, deny yourself. It feels good to spend more hours in sleep, deny yourself in order that you may be in the church. This is the problem of many. They may be convinced of the Sabbath, but they can't observe the Sabbath for simple lack of discipline. And discipline also includes saying no where you could say no. Pag niyaya ka, paminsan-minsan lang naman to, magkaroon tayo ng gimmick. And a disciplined person will say, I have other priorities. Unless this is necessity or mercy, I have priorities. So, out muna ako. And I'm not saying that you become rude to invitations, but learn to say no because you are to be with God's people on the Lord's Day. So let me just remind you of what the Lord said as promise of the blessing of the Sabbath in Isaiah 58:13 and 14. If you turn back your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, and the holy day of the Lord honorable, if you honor it, not going your own ways, or seeking your own pleasure, talking idly, then you shall take delight in the Lord, and I will make you ride on the heights of the earth. I will feed you with the heritage of Jacob your father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Do you see the pairs of contrast here? Delight, do not do your own pleasure. We think of delight as pleasure. It says, do not do your own pleasure. Then you will delight in the Lord. Delight in the Sabbath. So be thankful for, and then delightfully observe the Sabbath for the Lord. So I hope we can make that our own testimony, that this is the day, as we have sung, and that's based on Psalm 118. And in the interpretation of Peter in Acts 4:10, that day which the Lord has made is the resurrection day. So this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Any question? Any clarification or testimony? Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Pastor, for the lesson. I think I have already asked this before, pero I need to be refreshed of your answer. When we were in Cairo for a year, I remember our family observed the Lord's Day on a Friday because the work day or the work week starts on a Sunday. So if the first day of the week is the mandated Lord's Day for us Christians, and most churches, evangelical churches in probably many Islamic countries observe the Lord's Day on a Friday, and also the Coptic churches of that country. Is the church there doing a wrong approach? Or is there any other day where the church is allowed to observe the Lord's Day?
Well, I already said that there is a case of victimhood where you have no control of the system. At kung halimbawa nasa isang bansa ka na ang rest day, like in an Islamic country, it will be Friday, then you observe your You have your worship on what day? Thursday, Saturday, Friday. Friday nga pala. Friday. Friday, rest day ng Islamic country, then you have your service there. But my advice is to still have something on Sunday, like prayer meeting. You can have your prayer meeting on a Sunday just to keep in your mind the real commemoration of the Lord's resurrection is on Sunday, while you are victim of the social system. You follow where the rest day is, then have something special to do on Sunday para ma-maintain yung sense of the special day of Sunday. Yung iba naman sa Israel, you'll have Saturday as your rest day kung hindi naman binobomba ng Hezbollah o ng Hamas. You'll have your rest day on Saturday. You can have your worship service, and I know people who do that in Israel. But then, pagdating ng Sunday, they also have some activity after work where the church has either gathering or ways to make the day still a special day. So we recognize that there are cases of being a victim of a system you have no control of. Kagaya rin ng mga mananampalataya, merong shifting ang job nila at nagkakataon na may mga times of the year na Sunday talaga ang shift nila. Hindi mo nang pwedeng sabihin wag dahil mawawala sila ng trabaho, which is another case of an ethical issue. So this is where victimhood is. Pero kung ikaw ang may control, halimbawa may-ari ka ng tindahan, ng stall sa palengke, pwede mong isara, pero ayaw mong isara dahil gusto mong kumita, that's the one that's questionable if you have control, because you're not a victim. You become the one pushing for something that violates the Sabbath. Tita Te.
Gusto kong maintindihan yung sinabi dito sa yung Sabbath is made for men, not men made for Sabbath. Gusto kong maintindihan ito in relation to doon sa istorya din sa Bible na nagsasabi, ano ang mas mabuti, gumawa ka ng kabutihan sa Sabbath day, lalo na yung meron yatang lamb na na nahulog. Ngayon, pababayaan mo ba siya dahil Sabbath o kukunin mo siya?
Yun po ang ginamit na halimbawa ng Panginoong Yesus nang siya nag-heal on the Sabbath. Question siya ng mga legalistic Pharisees and scribes at doon niya ginamit yung analogy, if your sheep falls into a ditch, would you not rescue it? And of course, they will rescue it, pero masyado silang legalistic doon sa hindi naghugas ng kamay ceremonially yung kanyang disciples. So pinapakita niya yung there can be legalism in Sabbath observance, which is what Paul said in Colossians 2, these are just shadow of things to come. The substance is Christ. So we make the Sabbath substantially about Christ, about God. And doon yung sinabing the Sabbath was made for man, para sa pakinabang natin, not man for the Sabbath. So if I have a watch, this was made for me to be helped looking at time. So my preaching will not be too long. So makakatulong. But kung ginamit ko na pampasikat, sabihin ko, magandang watch ko, hindi naman talaga. Pero halimbawa lang, nagiging pangpayabang, pampasikat, ito na yung nangyayari na the man is being defined by his watch. Instead of the watch is just helping him to function normally as a man. Now, yan ang sinabi na the Sabbath was made for man. Mabuti ito para sa iyo. Kapag iyong pinalampas ang Sabbath, naging 24/7 worker ka, then you dehumanize yourself. It's not just that you are an unbeliever, but even being human, it is good for humanity, and it is dehumanizing to skip the Sabbath. Aaron.
Siguro po, in relation to that, I can't help but be amazed and in awe on how God made the Sabbath for man. Kasi napakabilis nating makalimot. Ang dami nating nakakalimutan that all the things that we have there is temporary. We forget who our God really is. We depend on ourselves. And having this day is really a good reminder for us that all that we have is temporary and we have a soul to nurture. We have a God whom we owe gratitude for His graciousness and goodness to us throughout the week. And nakakamangha po na ginawa niya to para sa atin. Otherwise, we would have forgotten Him. At tayo ay nagpatuloy sa ating gawain sa sarili natin. At makakalimutan natin kung sino ang nag-sustain sa atin during the entire week. A good time. Of course, we can do it every day, giving praising to God, but a focused day on really knowing Him, studying His Word with the brethren, and really giving back our praises is really something that our soul needs po. Salamat po.
Thank you. And that's the point of Isaiah 58 na you will see there the juxtaposition o yung pagdurugtong sa delighting in the Lord, delighting on the Sabbath. Huwag mong sabihing nagdi-delight ka sa Panginoon sa sarili mo lang, tapos pag dumating ang araw niya ay baliwala lang. One way we show that we delight in the Lord is we delight in His appointed day. And the appointed day for believers in the New Covenant is the day of the resurrection of Jesus, and that's Sunday. In fact, dapat nga tayong mas magalak pa dahil may kalayaan tayong gamitin ng Sunday. Nasa lipunan tayo na Sunday ang rest day. And so wala tayong excuse na hindi ma-google ang Sunday para sa kagalakan natin sa Panginoon. And again, as I said, ayaw mo ba nun? Gusto mo nung stress from day 1 to day 7? All stress, all work, all deadlines, all those things. Why don't you give yourself a break? And that's the goodness of the Lord. He gave us a break, and not just a break, but the time for delight in the Lord and in His salvation. Jean.
Pastor, thank you for refreshing with the precious lessons. Two questions. First, on the labeling between the Lord's Day and the Sabbath. Yung preference for the use of the Lord's Day instead of the Sabbath, so as not to be misidentified with the Seventh-day Adventist. So your comment on that. And then second is yung what did the Puritans do in those days during Sabbath or during the Lord's Day? Thank you.
Well, I have no problem calling it the Lord's Day, and we do call it the Lord's Day. I also have no problem, and in fact, I am prepared to call it the Sabbath, because the Sabbath simply means rest. It does not mean seventh. Now, it is a fact that the Jews observed it on the seventh, but that's because they were delivered from the Egyptians on the seventh day. You will see here the difference sa Exodus 20, is the creation pattern. Now, this is applicable to all humanity. Later on, the Ten Commandments will be repeated in Deuteronomy 5. When it comes to the Sabbath, the reason given is because of the Exodus. So this is what's for the Israelites. They observe it on the 7th day of the week. Pero hindi natin pwede gamitin sa creation yun. Sabihin natin, 7th day, nag-rest ang Panginoon. I-prove mo muna sa akin na He began creating on a Sunday. Nobody knows. It only shows the proportion of 1 day in 7. That after 6 days of labor, the 7th should be Sabbath. Now, to the Jews, it's Saturday because of Exodus. They were delivered on the 7th day of the week. Yung kanilang pag-cross on the Red Sea. Now, sa Christian, it becomes first day of the week by way of precept and mandate of the apostles, where the first day of the week has now become an apostolic instruction in 1 Corinthians 16. It's an example of Jesus on the resurrection day and his appearances to his disciples. So that's why I have no problem calling it Sabbath, which means rest, not seventh. But what we must maintain is that the 7-day cycle is built into us. Yan na yung pagkatao natin. Talagang we live by 7-day cycles. And in that 7-day cycles, 1 day is to be the day of rest. And by rest, yes, there's something literal to it. We rest from our work, but it's also the rest in the sense of not doing the regularity of the 6 days in order to sanctify that day for religious exercises. Well, for the Seventh-day Adventists, they have wrong allegations historically and wrong interpretation biblically.
Pastor, kasi kaya ako natanong yung first question, not to be misidentified with the Seventh-day Adventist. If you say in the office, for instance, oh, I don't work on Sunday because it's Sabbath day, you would say, Sabadista ka ba? So, I mean, that kind of misidentification, that's why the preference of the use of the Lord's Day rather than the Sabbath day when we say we don't work on a Sunday. Yun lang po yung question ko.
Well, it's still not a problem. In fact, you can make use of it as a point of contact na sinabi niyo, Sabadista ka ba? Hindi, kundi dahil ang Panginoon nag-resurrect ng first day of the week. And do you know why what the significance of the resurrection is? You can in fact turn it around and make it a gospel point of contact. So there are Reformed Christians who will strongly disagree na tawagin itong Sabbath, but you have Hebrews 4:9. You read the commentary of John Owen. This is on top of his 16 volumes. He has 6 volumes of commentary just on Hebrews. And his commentary on Hebrews 4:9 is profoundly good, na ito ay Sabbath rest ng mga Kristiyano. But the best, if you want something more brief, the best material, Jonathan Edwards. He has a sermon, 2-part sermon, The Perpetuity and Change of the Sabbath. You can download it. I think it's free. So, perpetuity and change of the Sabbath, he argues so well. The Puritan practice, you can see that in the binigay ko yata dyan yung references. You can see it in the Westminster Confession of Faith, chapter 21, the Shorter Catechism, numbers 57 to 60, and they all show that it is to be spent in worship in religious exercises, both family and the church. And then it also recognizes exceptions of works of necessity and works of mercy. The works of mercy, halimbawa yung kagaya nung nabanggit kanina, may sakit that Jesus healed him, kung may pangangailangan. Works of necessity, halimbawa, nagkaroon ng giyera in umatake, madalas gawin to ng mga Arabs. In most of the Arab invasions of Israel, they did it on the Sabbath of the Jews. Because that's when people are at rest. So, ibig sabihin, hintay muna, lulusob tayo bukas, pero Sabbath ngayon, hindi pwede. It's a matter of necessity, emergency. Go ahead, G.
Pastor, sabi po, the Puritans didn't travel on Sundays. Tama po ba yung gano'ng observation? Or did they do it? They avoid traveling on a Sunday?
Again, because the church is just a walking distance for the Puritans, so they walk to the church, and unless necessary and a work of mercy, they would not spend that day on travel. Pero, siyempre, during necessity and works of mercy, or during the time when it's no longer like during the Puritan times, the church may be kilometers away and you need to travel, hindi mag-a-apply ang ganun. Pero for the Puritans, ang principle doon ay they tried to be prepared for church on Sunday. So, hindi ito, nakaschedule na tayo ng Sunday, kundi pinaghahandaan nila ang Sunday. And when they come to church, they are there to worship with the people of God. Last 2 points. Ate Emma.
For somebody, Pastor, who is the only Reformed believer in the family, I was very careful about how I also observe the Sabbath. Because when I heard comments na, ay, ano yun, morning and afternoon ka pumupunta sa church, lalagpas ka na sa langit. So when they would say, let's go on a road trip, and they would schedule it on a Friday, initially, ang reaction ko was, ay, baka naman sabihin KJ ako. Tapos, it might affect my, my efforts to win them to my faith. So, sometimes I would tag along. Pero ngayon, sabi ko, okay, I think I should stick to my position that Sunday is a very important day for me. And if they want to go on a road trip, I can just say, just go ahead. I will just miss it. Don't just go without me. Parang, so, I have decided in my mind na ganun yung reaction ko. Kaya alam na nila, hindi sasama yun si Ate Emma. Let's not schedule anything on a Sunday. So, natuwa naman ako. But, at the same time, siguro, how do you navigate ngayon that your family members do not embrace your faith, but you still want to win them? Kaya nga, sabi ko, kahit may sakit ako, I am online on my laptop and still watch the what's going on in the church. Kaya, kung talaga sila, manghang-mangha sila. Parang hindi ka rin absent, ano? Kasi pinapanood mo, and I was singing, worshiping. So, I think that's a good testimony. And sometimes I would share, sa church, ganito yung preaching ng pastor. Saka may nabaptize na teenager. So I would share to them good things that happen in the church that namamangha sila. So I hope that whatever stand I have right now would be beneficial even for non-believers na family members. So I think it's a testimony how we really accept the Sabbath for what it is, obey the Lord, and just leave it to the Lord kung ano yung resulta.
Yeah, thank you po. And that shows, begin with a polite no. If you begin with a cowardly yes, na sige, kung anong gusto nyong Sunday, total, paminsan-minsan. If you start with that, they will badger you all the time na ba't hindi ka sumama ng Sunday. Pero if you start with a polite but convicted no, Sunday is special to me, then they will stop bothering you and begin to understand, even respect your position and your consistency. Yung umaga't hapon, halimbawa kaya may concert si Taylor Swift, umaga, tanghali at hapon. Yung isang bayad mo ay nagbayad ka na, tapos umaga, tanghali at hapon. Ay siguro marami rin natutulog na sa labas ng venue para makaaga sa pila. At maghapon sila ron, nagsisigaw. At meron akong I know people who even profess to be Christians, but they will give up Sunday just to be in a K-pop band. And that to me is a question of priority. So, ipapalit mo si Taylor Swift o sino mang Korean band, sorry, any Korean band for Jesus Christ? I mean, what is the comparison? What have they done for the world? Yes, they may entertain millions. Jesus Christ has saved his millions and has died and rose from the dead. There, I exchanged Jesus for these celebrities. Yeah, the idea has never entered my mind to even consider. Tim?
As I understand, the Sabbath mandate is a creation mandate. So, para siya sa lahat. Ang isang observation ko is talagang napakahirap kung hindi mo kinikilala ang Diyos sa iyong buhay. Kasi, yun nga, ang Sabbath ay isang araw kung saan set aside focus ka sa pagpapasalamat sa Diyos sa kabutihan mo sa kanyang buhay. So kung wala kang Diyos, nakaranas ka ng kabutihan ng Diyos sa iyong buhay, pero wala. Ewan kung saan siya galing para sa iyo. Pero nakakalungkot na bagay. Pero ang isa ding nakikita ko, especially sa mga conferences na pinuntahan, tapos nakikita ko yung mga bata, isa rin sila. So, para sa kanila din yun, na talagang naano ko na yung kahalagahan ng role ng parents na palakihin sila simula sa kanilang pagkabata sa pagkakilala sa Diyos. Kaya ang Deuteronomy 6:9, napakahalaga. So, kumbaga, ang Sunday, ang Sabbath is hindi lang siya parang intermission o hindi siya disconnected doon sa 6 days. So, napakahirap kung ang mga bata ay pinalaki na sa bahay, sila ang nasusunod. So, kumbaga, they are raising their parents to obey them. Imbes na they are being raised to obey their parents. So, ang nakikita ko, yun nga, observation sa mga paglakad-lakad ngayong nakaraang June at July, na naisip ko nakikita yung mga bata habang may nagpipreach, takbo ng takbo, tapos mapapansin mo na yung hindi sila nakokontrol ng magulang nila. Naisip ko talaga, napakahalaga ng papel ng parents sa bahay. Yun talaga ang mahalaga.
Okay, thank you. So, yung training ng children ay it takes the 6 days to prepare them for the day of the Lord. Hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng push button mentality o puro laro siya nung 6 days, puro TV, puro social media, tapos sabihin mo, oh, Sunday ngayon, push button. It doesn't work that way. Pero ganun din sa adults, di lang sa mga bata. If you are not feeding upon the Lord in His Word through the 6 days, and then think that suddenly you will push a button somewhere of spirituality and then be Sabbath ready, you're wrong. Kagaya rin yan ng hindi ka maghihintay ng may piyesta sa ika-7 araw, kaya 6 na araw ay wala kang kakainin, subo lang ng kung ano, tapos magpapakabusog ka ng katumbas ng 6. Hey, our bodies are not made that way. So are our souls. We are not made to just wait for the Sunday for all your feeding. We must be feeding our souls through the week. Though the feast is on the Lord's Day, we are feeding through the week. Did you raise your hand, Teng? Or kung may testimony pa. So sana maging commitment sa atin ito and a refreshing that we enjoy. We can be legalistic, I know, but the worst thing is to be without law when it comes to the day that the Lord has made for us to rejoice and to enjoy Him. So let's bring these things to God in prayer. Dakila naming Diyos, aming mahabaging Ama, nagpapasalamat kami na mapanariwa namin ang katotohanan na ito para sa aming pamumuhay. Salamat din sa mga Puritans na naging masigasig at marunong sa kanilang pagtuturo ng kahalagahan ng Sabbath. At nawa ay tanggapin namin to, angkinin at ipamuhay na isipin namin na ito ay para sa aming kapakinabangan. You did not make man for the Sabbath, but the Sabbath for man. And for believers, it is all the more special, indeed, even more joyful, because it is in recognition of the risen Christ who was raised from the dead on the first day of the week. Whatever the issues may be committed to the Lord's Day as our day of worship, our day of fellowship and religious exercises, and being thankful that after 6 days of a lot of stress and things that can be burdensome in this disordered world, you can have time for rest. So grant that we may be delivered, not from work, but from restlessness of living, and enjoy that rest we have now and the future eternal rest that is promised to your people. So be with us in the application of this, and we pray all these things in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.